Hey, what's up guys, Benny here, and welcome to the top 5 meta loadouts that you need to be running in Warzone Season 4. We've had a few days to fine-tune our loadouts to make sure they're the best they can possibly be, so you can dominate in Warzone right now, even if you're playing solo casual. But you know, we won't get into that. But first up, we've got the LC10. This has taken the undisputed position for the #1 SMG in the game, and this is the build that you're going to want to be using. I'm going to give you the 5 attachment build and then the 8 attachment, so you can do whichever one you want to, depending on the loadouts that you're grabbing. Now, we're going to start off with the muzzle, and you're going to throw on that compensator. That's going to give you that vertical recoil control. Very, very important. Just makes it a lot easier to handle. Then the barrel is not going to be the reinforced, which is what a lot of people will go for, and it's something that I went for a lot in the past. You're actually going to want to go for the long barrel just to maximize that damage range, so you can get the faster TTKs at that little bit further distance, because you don't need to be hitting people at like 30 meters and taking them down quickly, because that's not where you're going to be using the LC10. But that long barrel is perfect to allow you to get the faster TTKs. The underbarrel is an interesting one. Now, the range of foregrip does give you that extra sprinting movement speed. So you go from 6.4 meters a second to 6.8. That is very helpful when you're trying to close distances down and kind of pull off flanks around opponents or do the rotations. But the G grip does offer you the ability to have that recoil stabilization, which does help, but the laser visible and ADS means you can't hold your irons in the same way. So it's a little bit of a trade-off. If you don't mind people being able to see where you are, you can go for the G grip. If you do, I kind of prefer using the G grip on assault rifles, not SMGs as much. Go for the range of foregrip. That's going to give you horizontal recoil and sprinting movement speeds. Then the next attachment you are going to go for is the magazine, and you are going to run that extended mag 2. This is going to give you 55 rounds, allow you to take out trios and quads with ease. That's all the bullets you need, to be honest. Then the rear grip, we are not going to use on the 5 attachment, but we will go for the stock, and we're going to run that balanced stock. Partially because we want that increased movement speed. That's very, very important. It brings your base movement speed to 5.5 meters a second, and also your crouch movement speed to 2.8. On top of the benefits of being like better strafing speeds, being harder to hip fire, you're going to win a lot more gunfights. Now, that is the 5 attachment build, right? Now, if you're going for the 8 attachment build, what I do here is I go to the firing mods, I put on the recoil springs straight away. We then go for the rear grip, and we go for that ergonomic grip for that faster ADS slide to fire, dive to fire speeds. Very, very helpful. Then I personally hate running a laser. I just don't always, like, if I'm going to run one, I'll run the fast motion for those like diving and sliding hip fire spreads. But for me, I don't like blowing my position with an SMG, because a lot of the advantages you gain are the element of surprise. If you're like kind of lying prone around a corner, you don't want to blow your position. So go for an optic and go for like the Kepler Micro Flex or the Volskiv Reflex, whichever you prefer. I go for the Volskiv. Now this is the LC10, the fire range. As you can see, great mobility all round. A bit harder to use at the distance, just because at 25 meters, they're a little bit further away. But of course, this range, you have got a really fast ADS speed. Your strafe speeds are great. It's got a ridiculous DTK, which we can now actually see in the top left-hand corner, which never used to be there. So you can see how fast your guns are actually killing. So, straight there, 0.528. 0.528. It's a very fast killing SMG. So next up, we have the undisputed #1 assault rifle in Warzone Season 4 right now, the Krig. This dominated in Season 3, and nothing really competes with it even now. Now, the optic that you're going to run on this is the Volskiv Reflex. Now, my advice is, if you do prefer to have an optic with a bit more zoom, you can go ahead and run like the Willis 3X or even the Jason Armory 2. You're going to get a bit of extra recoil gun kick control as well with that, an increase of 30%, which is pretty insane. So it's even better to control than if you're using a 1X optic. Now, you do get some like ADS punishments, but that's okay. So I personally like going with the Volskiv Reflex, as I don't think the Krig really has any recoil at all with the build I'm going to give you. Then the muzzle is going to be that compensator for that vertical recoil control. The barrel is going to be the reinforced barrel, because I like to have that extra damage range as well as the bullet velocity increase. Then the underbarrel, you can go for that G grip or the vertical foregrip. Vertical foregrip, if you don't have the G grip unlocked yet. Then the mag is going to be that extended mag 2. Now, that is actually my build that I use if I'm running a 5 attachment. You can, of course, go ahead and get rid of the optic and put on the recoil springs. If you want the iron sight version, which is still very, very good. Then if you go for the 8 attachment, you can throw that Volskiver back on, go for the rear grip, which is going to be your quick draw grip, and then the stock is of course going to be the balance stock. Now, I know a lot of people will also run like the combat stock just for that flinch resistance, but I really like the extra movement speed and strafing movement speed that the balance gives me in ranked play gunfights. It can really give you the edge, but that is the Krig C. Just to give you an idea of what it's like in the firing range. Super easy to use, really easy just to kind of transition your gunshots. Of course, it becomes a little bit harder at a distance, but that's sort of what you expect with these assault rifles. But best AR in the game. Next, I'm going to give you the best sniper and also the best sniper support. And of course, the best sniper is still the HDR. This is the undisputed king. The muzzle, you're going to go throw that monolithic suppressor on there for bullet velocity, damage range, and no minimap firing ping. The barrel is going to be the reinforced because remember, you got a one-shot kill here. Sorry, not the reinforced, the gain twist, because you got a one-shot kill, damage range does not matter. The underbarrel is then going to be that lightweight bipod just to kind of remove that aiming idle sway, so it's easier to hit those headshots. Now, on an 8 attachment version, we will throw a mag on, but right now we're not doing that. We're going to go for maximum bullet velocity. So the firing mod right here will be the overpressured rounds. And then also we put the quick draw grip just so you got that faster ADS, which is very, very important. Now, I really like the 8 attachment version because you will then throw a magazine on and you'll go for the fast mag 1. This will give you much faster ADS, so just makes it just a little bit more controlled. So fast mag 2 will bring it down even further, but of course you're only then going to get 4 rounds, which actually works pretty well. I've never actually looked at fast mag 2, but go for the fast mag 2. 4 rounds before a reload, but you're going to get an even faster ADS speed. Stock, we are then going for the heavy stock. This is to give you the flinch resistance, so if someone is shooting at you, you're going to be able to kind of sponge it a little bit and get your shot off accurately, which is very important. Then the laser, we go for that target laser. It gives you even more aiming idle sway delay and aim walking steadiness just to help you snap onto those shots that little bit easier. But yeah, go use the HDR. Next, we've got the brand new FFAR. This is the #1 sniper support, and it's also, to be perfectly honest with you, a very good assault rifle to use if you're bored of using the Krig. Now the optic, we're going to put that Volskiv reflex because I'm going to be honest, the iron sight on this thing is not very nice. Then compensator, vertical recoil control. The FFAR has a very high rate of fire of 938 rounds per minute. So you're going to want to have as much recoil control as possible to use it to its best ability. The barrel, simple, reinforced, extra damage range, and also that increased bullet velocity. Makes it even more effective at range. The underbarrel, we're going to run that G grip. Now, the recoil stabilization, very, very helpful because of the high fire rate, as well as the horizontal recoil and that hip fire to ADS accuracy, which you're going to do a little bit more often because you're going to fire your sniper, then switch weapon, and then go from hip fire to ADS. So go for that G grip. Then for the mag, I go for the extended mag 2, just so next 60 rounds. Yes, you do get punishment on your ADS speed, but to be perfectly honest with you, that extra 20 milliseconds for the 60 round mag is worth it with the fire rate of the FFAR. Now that is the 5 attachment build. Then if we go for the 8 attachment build, we of course are going to go ahead and then throw on the quick draw grip just for that faster ADS speed, which I think is very, very important. Then the stock is going to be that balance pad for the extra strafing and movement speed. And then the firing mods are the recoil springs for that extra recoil control. We don't need more bullet velocity. This is a close range weapon. I'm just going to show it to you in the firing range because it is ridiculous. As you can see, an absolute laser beam. It just doesn't move. I don't think I've ever seen a weapon have less recoil with this rate of fire. Like, my shot is a bit wavy because I've been in Stockholm, but wow, just a lot of fun to use. Give it a go with a HDR. Then our final weapon for the top 5 meta loadouts is the C9. It's the best all-round SMG. The muzzle, you're going to run that compensator on there for the vertical recoil control. Barrel is the reinforced barrel for that extra damage range and bullet velocity. The underbarrel is going to be that range of 4 grip for that extra movement speed. The mag is the extended mag 2. I actually do need to give the 10 mil round mag a go. I have not done that yet. Then the rear grip, we are going to go for that ergonomic grip. The stock is going to be that balanced stock. Then the laser is going to be the fast motion laser for that diving hipfire and sliding hipfire spread. Very, very helpful, and no one ever sees the laser. And then firing mods is going to be the recoil springs to finish it up. I absolutely love the C9. I'm so glad the MP5 is back in meta, but those are the 5 guns that you should be using this season. Make sure to subscribe if you're not, so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.